Rock on 6, Milwaukee's hottest rock video show, bringing you the latest in rock videos and interviews with the biggest names in rock and roll. Simulcast on 93 QFM, Rock on 6, Saturdays at 6.
Get your garden together with TV6 News. The following is a videotaped rebroadcast of TV6 News at 10.
From the station that's pulling for Milwaukee, this is TV6 News at 10 with Vince Gibbons, Mike Miller, Vince Condella, Jim Paschke, and the entire TV6 News team.
Hello. Police in Wisconsin and Minnesota are still looking for pipe bombs, and the concern is growing that future targets might include 4 other states as well.
More than a dozen of the potentially dangerous pipe bombs have been found so far. 6 more since last night in St. Cloud, Minnesota. 1 yesterday along some railroad tracks in Stillwater, Minnesota, and 6 over the weekend in La Crosse. No serious injuries have been reported so far. Police have detonated or disarmed most of the devices, but they can't understand why it's happening.
We're baffled.
The bombs are virtually identical, usually 6-inch lengths of pipe filled with explosive powder and metal objects like nails or screws. In almost every case, notes have been found complaining of police oppression signed by the Gay Strike Force and hinting that the incidents could spread to Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, and Indiana. But police and gay organizations have never heard of the Gay Strike Force, and there's speculation that it could be just one person trying to stir up anger toward homosexuals.
A loner, a radical, an extremist, a fundamentalist type person who has what we call the true belief in something.
Police say the cases are clearly linked and may be related to 2 other explosions that did cause injuries earlier this month in Eau Claire. Vince?
Meanwhile, bomb scares and threats of new terrorist activity have Americans in Beirut, Lebanon, seeking safety tonight. Extra guards have been brought in to protect the 20 American faculty members at American University in Beirut. There were 2 bomb scares there today, and an Iranian-backed terrorist group is reportedly threatening to go on a kidnapping spree. 4 Americans have been kidnapped from the university since February. Only 1 has been rescued.
Against a backdrop of gloomy weather, Americans honored the nation's war dead today. There were observances in almost every city in the country today. In New York, veterans tossed wreaths into the waters of the Hudson River from the dock of the aircraft carrier Intrepid. In Boston, the nation's oldest commissioned ship fired a 21-gun salute in honor of our veterans. The USS Constitution, which saw battle during the War of 1812, fired 1 shot a minute for 21 minutes, ending today at noon.
But perhaps the most touching Memorial Day service today honored those who fought in the nation's longest war, an undeclared war, one with no real beginning, no real end. The only unknown soldier from the Vietnam War was laid to rest today, thanks to 3 other anonymous Americans who gave their lives in previous wars. Families of men still missing, whose names are known but whose fates in the jungles of Indochina are not, gathered at Arlington Cemetery for the long-awaited ceremony. Many wondered if this final burial would mean an end to a war they say many want to forget, but President Reagan assured them the efforts to find MIAs will continue.
We write no last chapters. We close no books. We put away no final memories. An end to America's involvement in Vietnam cannot come before we have achieved the fullest possible accounting of those missing in action. Today, we simply say with pride, thank you, dear son. May God cradle you in his loving arms.
Veterans also gathered at the Vietnam War Memorial today, where the name of the unknown soldier is somewhere engraved on the wall, and where the battles are engraved on the faces of those who were there. Those who paid freedom's highest price were also honored in our area today, as Terry Bertha reports.
Fighting men are expected to be brave. When it comes to honor, no one kind of man is better than any other. Bravery is something that can be within anyone.
Bravery is a common theme on Memorial Day. Today, many braved the weather to spend the day among those for whom the holiday is held, America's veterans. The rain-drenched crowd of different ages and different wars was challenged. It was told to give meaning to the veterans' sacrifices by remembering the principles for which they fought. Wood's director says the 23,000 flag-marked graves here confirm some things are more important than life itself. Across town, a group of peace advocates quietly disagrees.
Thoughts of war, past, present, and God forbid future, abound on Memorial Day. Will there be anyone left to do the remembering in the year 2000? Or will only the monuments and the headstones stand?
But for the wives and children of veterans, today is not a day to question foreign policy or political motive. It is a day to remember those who had little say in the decisions, but a big role in enforcing them.
Be smart. Before you depart, call ahead. A reminder from Wisconsin Bell, your long-distance connection.
Do you have a lawyer? Most Americans don't. That's why we started Hyatt Legal Services, a new kind of law firm now with offices throughout the country where you can discuss your problem with an attorney for just $20. And for cases like divorce, bankruptcy, and wills, we have standard fees that are very reasonable. At Hyatt Legal Services, we care about you. I'm Joel Hyatt, and you've got my word on it.
At Hyatt Legal Services, reasonable fees are the law. Call the office nearest you.
The price of the pound just went down. Introducing Sunrise Ground Beef. You've always known Century for the very freshest ground beef, and now you have 4 choices. There's our ground round premium quality. Century Extra Lean, the very best. Century's lean ground beef, the family favorite. And now there's Sunrise ground beef, too. It's economically priced, so you get a dividend of extra savings. So invest a little time to compare, and you'll see nobody serves you better than your Century.
A few days after Milwaukee police were criticized for not responding appropriately after discovering a jail inmate hanging himself, officers did prevent a jail suicide by performing CPR. Police say that 44-year-old Ernie LaPointe was placed in the 5th District Station Jail after he was arrested yesterday. About a half hour later, he was found hanging from jail cell bars by his T-shirt. Well, the officers pulled him down and quickly applied cardiopulmonary resuscitation. LaPointe was revived and taken to Frederick Memorial Hospital, where he is in critical condition tonight. Police say LaPointe has attempted suicide 9 times. On Friday, the jury in the Eric Adway suicide inquest suggested formal CPR and emergency procedures be developed for just such incidents. Mike?
After 2 federal convictions, reputed Milwaukee organized crime boss Frank Balistreri will be sentenced tomorrow by federal judge Terrence Evans. In April, the 65-year-old Balistreri was convicted of extortion along with his 2 sons, Joseph and John. Balistreri will also be sentenced for his conviction last November on 5 felony counts of running an illegal sports betting business. Balistreri faces a maximum sentence of 57 years in prison. His sons, who will be sentenced June 19th, each face maximum sentences of 40 years in prison.
Female police officers, they are steadily easing their way away from jobs like clerk, secretary, office assistant.
In tonight's News Extra, Karen Friedman takes you through training and shows you what opportunities are in store for the lady who is a cop.
Everything together. One, sir.
Once upon a time, you wouldn't see women pitting their strength and endurance against men. And you certainly wouldn't see women clutching nightsticks, preparing to become top-notch police officers. But that's exactly what's happening. 21 weeks of training will place these 5 women, as well as men, in Milwaukee detective jobs, patrol beats, youth bureaus.
The women are expected to do the same job as the men, so the training is the same. Some people may have more talent than others, but there's nobody that's going to leave here that can't handle themselves.
About 100 officers will come through this program each year. 20 or less will be women. And it's a lot different than it was years before. It used to be when a female police officer came into the program, people thought she might be a secretary or a clerk. Well, the women of today want the right to risk their lives on the street just as male officers do.
We can do just as good as they can. They may be taller and bigger, but we handle it different.
When we first came, I was a little apprehensive, as to whether they could keep up, do, the same stuff as we can, but all of them just really, they've done so well. They really surprised me. But a few of them, have even done better than a lot of the guys in a lot of different areas.
I don't believe that. But for all the applause, there is also a good deal of criticism. Many point out in Milwaukee there is one female police sergeant, but that's where the command ladder ends. And they're right. I checked with 33 local police departments in the surrounding Milwaukee area. There are 61 female officers, but 44 are with Milwaukee. That leaves 17 women in the remaining 32 departments, and of all those women, one is a sergeant. The remaining commanders are men.
I see we've had police officers for 10 years, female police officers, but they have come and gone. Many of the first ones found out that this was not the career that they really would like. So the ladies we have now, I would say, have been on the maximum 6 years.
So they haven't reached command positions yet?
Exactly, but they're no doubt eventually they're going to be in the command positions.
It's true, women are relatively new to patrol work, but the National Policy Studies Institute found there is extreme personal prejudice against female officers by their male colleagues. Other studies note the public often has difficulty accepting the female cop, and consequently, female officers are struggling to overcome these attitudes. That struggle begins side by side on the streets. Tomorrow, we'll ride with a male-female police team. I'm Karen Friedman with a TV6 News Extra, Milwaukee.
And we know you really enjoyed our gorgeous holiday weather, right?
Oh, yes, didn't we? Anyway, what it will be for the next couple of days from our expert, Vince Condella.
I hear so much about Social Security, I'm concerned, and I don't know what I can do.
Everyday medical costs are going up. What can I do about it?
The older I get, the harder it is to make ends meet. What can I do?
If you're over 50, you're part of America's fastest-growing age group. And together, you can do something by joining the American Association of Retired Persons. The AARP represents everyone over 50 on important issues like Social Security, pension reform, and medical care. AARP offers a group health insurance program, provides consumer information, and saves you money every day on prescription drugs, hotels, and car rental. It even sends you a great bi-monthly magazine. AARP gives you all this for just $5. That's all it takes to join. So, if you're over 50, retired or not, call the AARP membership line toll-free at